are in. Reds and Braves game 1, Cardinals and Pirates, Phillies and Twins, Brewers and Cubs. Those picks are in. They are on the board, and we have posted those on our social media accounts as well as on SHARPZ, so you can check those out now. We are going to focus on every other game on the schedule today, and we're going to leave it up to you now. We're going to make this the audience-controlled part of the show. So now that we're back for part 2, we're going to let you guys dictate what you want us to focus on. So if there are certain trends you want us to focus on, certain games you want us to focus on, put your comments in the chat. Make sure that you're letting us know what you guys are focused on. Hello again. Been so long since I last saw you. Feel like we need your help? We're here for it. So make sure you guys are throwing your comments in the chat. Brian Reynolds out of the lineup. Good to know. So we're ripping him off the board. Brian Reynolds off the board for those. We liked it. We don't know why he's not in the lineup. I'm seeing he's in the lineup but may not be available on the bet. So different things I'm hearing from different places there. Bayo is asking about the Boston Red Sox. Let's go check out the Red Sox, everybody, and let's see if the Red Sox are a good play today. So let's dive into this game. Red Sox are a 3-10 start. Kind of fits well. We did the early games. Now we're leaning right into Red Sox and Rockies. Red Sox, big game last night. 6-0 win. Tyler O'Neill, couple of home runs. We highlighted him in our show yesterday, saying he is someone who goes on spurts. Really interesting stat, actually, I saw around Tyler O'Neill this year. He has 20 home runs, only 38 RBI. So a lot of solo dingers so far this year. Either he's hitting home runs or he's not contributing a lot of RBIs off of that. So kind of interesting there. Anyways, getting back to this game itself, Red Sox and Rockies. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Sox. Cal Quantrill on the mound for the Rocks. The market for this one is favoring the Red Sox, but with a little bit of a lean towards the Rockies. 86% of the tickets so far bet on this game are on Boston, but 22% of the money is on the Rockies, so there is a little bit of value there. Very interested by that. As for the run line, Red Sox are getting the love, 88% of tickets, 89% of the money. As for the over-under, kind of split, 54% tickets and money on over-under 10.5 runs. Let's dive into this game, looking at the trends for this one. Now, this is an afternoon baseball game over there in Colorado. I'm just kind of curious, how have the Rockies been in day games at home this year? Rockies are 7-8 in day baseball games. That's 7-8 straight up. But very interesting to note, when the Rockies play a day game at home, they actually have the best winning percentage in terms of the run line. The Rockies are 10-5 on the run line when they play a day game at home. That's better than any team in baseball so far this year. If you had bet $100 on them to cover on the run line, you'd be up $395. So not a huge amount given some of the trends we study, but Rockies are actually the best team day game at home on the run line. So keep your eye on that one. Just kind of interested by that. I'm not going to give it too much credence. Let's flip it around. How have the Red Sox been day games on the road? Red Sox are 11-5, the best record in baseball. So we have great trends to go with this game today. Red Sox on the money line. Red Sox are 11-5 day games on the road. That's the best record in baseball. Meanwhile, on the run line, Rockies at home, day game on the run line, best record in baseball. So Red Sox money line, Rockies plus 1.5 has a lot of value as we get into our trends. But we're just starting. We're not done yet. Let's take a look at how the Red Sox have done. Coming off a road win, and they're in then a day game following a road win. Red Sox are 5-3, day game following a road win. The over is hit in 4 straight. Red Sox 5-3 straight up, 3-5 on the run line. Over has been better throughout the year at 4-3. When the Red Sox play a day game against a right-handed starting pitcher, Red Sox are 17-9, 17-9 straight up, day game against a right-handed starting pitcher. However, they failed to have a winning record on the run line. They're 12-14 on the run line despite being 17-9 straight up. As for the over-under, under's been slightly better. Again, day games on the road against a right-handed starter, 8-4 straight up, but 5-7 on the run line. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Sox. Let's dive into some Nick Pivetta stats. When Pivetta has pitched on the road so far this year, 5-3 straight up, 3-5 on the run line. When Pivetta's pitched in a day game this year, Red Sox are 5-1 when Nick Pivetta pitches in a day game. However, just 2-4 on the run line. So the same trends keep coming up. Red Sox money line, Rockies plus 1.5. Seems to have some value there. When Pivetta pitches in a day game on the road so far this season, Red Sox are 4-0 straight up, but 1-3 on the run line. When he pitches as a road favorite so far this year, Red Sox are also 4-0. So I feel comfortable with this. I'm going to take the Red Sox on the money line. Red Sox on the money line does come up. However, before I'm done with this one, I do want to check out the Cal Quantrill stats. Cal Quantrill, so far this year when he has pitched at home, Rockies are, wow, when Cal Quantrill has pitched at home for the Rockies, Rockies are 6-2 straight up, 6-2 on the run line. When they're a home dog, 6-1 straight up, 5-2 straight up, 6-1 on the run line. I'm taking the Rockies to cover, everybody. Rockies plus 1.5. There's some value on the Rockies today. I now understand why there's some money that's been creeping towards that side. Red Sox money line, Rockies plus 1.5. Very interesting based on what we're seeing. Red Sox on the road in a day game, love the money line. Rockies at home in a day game, love the run line. Based on the starting pitchers as well, this is where I'm coming down. Red Sox money line, Rockies to cover. By the way, Rockies plus 1.5 available, obviously, but Rockies plus 2.5 is not a bad spot. I'm going to make my pick on the big board. Rockies plus 2.5. That feels very, very safe. Feels like a very good play. I'm about that one. Rockies plus 2.5. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. We're leaving it to you to decide which way we're going to go on this one. Jay, we are taking Phillies on the money line. Those picks are already up on our big board. If you want to see our big board, a couple ways you can do it. One, you can jump on over to YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. You can there see my screen and every piece of research and the big board that goes with it. You can also use the SHARPZ app. All of our picks are available for free up on the SHARPZ app every day. Butt Fumble Sports, our handle over there. Or you can DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports on Instagram. I give away my picks for free, so our picks for the afternoon games are already up on the board, the early games. We're going through the other games, so you let us know what you want us to focus on. We've already talked Brewers and Cubs. We've already talked Phillies and Twins. We just covered Red Sox and Rockies. And, of course, we did Cardinals and Pirates and the first game of the day, which is that Braves and Reds game. By the way, Reds off to a quick start, 2-0 lead there. I warned you guys, run in the first inning. I didn't like the NRFI play. Feel very strongly about that now, obviously. 2 runs cashed for the Reds. In that game, we took Braves money line, but Reds plus 1.5, so it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. Reds jumping all over the Braves. Appreciate you guys being with us. Jay, can you look at Gunnar for a hit today? Of course we can. Let's do our work, everybody. We're jumping on over to the Orioles and the Marlins game. We mentioned Anthony Santander yesterday. He came through. Gunnar Henderson, nothing. No history against Edward Cabrera, so nothing we can take from that. Against right-handed pitching so far this year, Gunnar is hitting .304, and specifically didn't have a hit last game. The last time Gunnar Henderson went 2 games without a hit was June 22nd and 23rd. So he's done a really good job of responding after an 0 day. How about against right-handed pitching? The last time... Wow, okay, but against right-handed pitching, he's on a 2-game slumper. Face some lefties in between. On the road. Gunnar Henderson, the last 2 games against a right-handed starter on the road, he doesn't have a hit. That's the first time all season that he's gone 2 consecutive games without a hit. If there is any trend right now that I'm looking at or have looked at over the course of the morning that's a better play, I can't find it. Gunnar Henderson over half a hit. Gunnar Henderson over half a hit. The definition of due isn't something I usually like to bring up, but based on the trends, he hadn't gone back-to-back games against a right-handed starter without a hit. Now I'm expecting him to go 3 games without a hit? Nah, I'll take Gunnar Henderson over half a hit. Gunnar Henderson over half a hit. I'll take that one and feel very comfortable with it. Appreciate you guys being with us. Yeah, that is a big one for me. Sometimes you just see a trend and you go, the trend is actually going too long, or a trend should work in our favor here. Right-handed pitching on the road. Kind of interesting to note, here's another one. Gunnar Henderson hasn't had 3 straight road games against a right-handed starter without going over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Let me repeat that. Gunnar Henderson, the entire season, has only had 2 consecutive road games against a right-handed starter where he was under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. He hasn't had a 3-game stretch with that. So Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs is a good play as well. By the way, Reds jumping out. Fraley just went bomb. So the Reds jumping out on the Braves 4-0 before the Braves even get started. We took Braves money line, Reds plus 1.5. So sorry about it, but hey, long game. We'll see how it goes. We're going to cash on one of those two. We were hoping to cash on both, but interesting start there in Atlanta as the Reds are jumping all over the Braves. Getting back to our research, I like Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs as well, as we were just referring to. Now let's get back to looking at the matchup. No history for the Marlins. There isn't really actually anybody else that I'm crazy about in that Orioles lineup. You can talk me into Santander. Santander has been incredibly hot. He has a 9-game hitting streak now against right-handed pitching. He has hit a hit in 9 of his last 10 games. He has a hit in 12 of his last 14 games. He's just been on fire. So Anthony Santander over half a hit. You could certainly take that one as well. He has a hit in 17 of his last 20 games on the road against a right-handed starter. So let me throw him up here as well. I know I put them both up there yesterday, but I'm doing it again today. Anthony Santander over half a hit. Gunnar Henderson over half a hit. What's the free website to do the research? Killersports.com. K-I-L-L-E-R sports.com. That said, I'm also a big advocate, obviously, for Outlier. Outlier does require a subscription, but if you want a free 7-day trial, DM me on Instagram. I'm more than happy to set you guys up with a free 7-day trial for Outlier so you can give it a whirl. If it's something that you're interested in, you can buy it, buy the subscription. If not, no harm, no foul. But I can give you guys a free 7-day trial if you want to give Outlier a whirl. I just did all my research for Gunnar Henderson using Outlier, so that's how easy it is to quickly go through certain splits, be able to check things out. Obviously, really useful. And by the way, one of the things I actually want to call out about it that I really like, you could probably do 65 to 80% of the same research using Fangraphs, but you couldn't connect the markets. So you couldn't connect the sports book. So if you can't tell where the value is. You can tell how certain trends are going. You can see if Gunnar Henderson hits right-handed or left-handed pitching well, how he's done on the road, how he's done of late. But one of the things I like about Outlier is you can see what the market is. You can see if it's a good return on investment, if it's worth upgrading from over half a hit to over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. So that's one of the reasons I kind of bring up, I make mention of Outlier as more than just a pure research tool for the stats. It's really good in including the marketplace as well. D. Turner just hit on De La Cruz over 3 bases and over 1.5 runs in the first. Reds are over 3.5. D. Turner, salute to you. So happy you're having a wonderful day and that you're off to a fantastic start. I'm pumped for every single one of you guys. I hope every bet you have cashes, though I know some of our bets are conflicting. But I'm rooting for you guys. I hope you guys know this. We're all on the same team. We're on team cashing tickets. I want you to win. I hope you want me to win. Doesn't mean we always follow each other's bets, but I certainly hope that we're all rooting for each other. And if there are trends that you come across, if there's data you come across, if there's something that you're aware of that's giving you a bit of an edge or giving you some confidence, share it with the group. Butt Fumble Sports is all about helping each other out. So make sure you're checking out not just what our picks are, but what the trends are, and maybe you can share that with all of us. That said, what are my thoughts on the Pirates? We took Cardinals and Pirates on the under earlier today. Cardinals, Pirates under 9.5. I did like Philly on the money line. Philly on the money line. They have some really good numbers against the starting pitcher they'll be facing. Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, both of those guys I like to get over half a hit. I did take Jared Kelenic over half a hit. Unfortunately, in his first AB, he just walked, so can't cash on that one just yet. But I like the fact that clearly good history against the starting pitcher. Braves are going to need some offense in this one. Frankie Montas might give it to him. Could be a high-scoring game there in Atlanta, with the Cincinnati Reds already putting up 4 runs. By the way, I actually want to call out something I really have started to use that I usually don't bring up during the show because we do our show prior to games starting. You can use killersports.com to do in-game research. Here's what I'm going to show you guys right now. So, when let's say the Reds have a margin after 1 inning greater than or equal to 4 runs so far this year, has it happened yet this year? So the Reds this year have had a lead of 3 runs, have had a lead of more than 3 runs after 2 innings 3 times this season. They've won all 3 of those games. They covered the run line in all 3 of those games. So kind of interesting to note, Nick Lodolo actually pitched in all of them. Let's see what the margin is after 1 inning, okay? So we're going to keep track of this Reds and Braves game. Maybe some in-game betting opportunities here. But I want to call out killersports.com. You can look how teams do with in-game research. Kind of interesting to follow. Let's flip it around. Just kind of an example for you. When the Braves, after 1 inning, are losing by 3... it's -3. The overs 2-0. They've actually gone 1-1 after 1 inning when they've been losing by 3 runs. That said, they are already threatening, so this could be a very wild game in Atlanta. Don't call this one just yet. Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase? Really good question. I'm going to say Jamar Chase, and here's why. Couple factors in this one for me. One, I think that Tyreek Hill could regress a little bit this year, age being a factor. I think that the defenses that he'll be facing in division, I think the Patriots, the Jets, top-tier corners. You could argue that the Bills still have a solid defense. I actually think Jamar Chase could be a better pick long-term this season than Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill will probably go sooner. I think Jamar Chase is probably the better pick. I'm on the fence about this one. I actually think the contract factor positively impacts Jamar Chase. So I'd go Jamar Chase just really quick. RM wants an example of how we do our research on killersports.com every day. Let's check out that Yankee game. Let's complete the game with the Orioles and the Marlins. Orioles and Marlins. Let's complete the research on that one. So first I use Outlier to check out where the market is. Right now the Orioles are the favorite, but the money is shifting in the Marlins' favor. 65% of the tickets are on the Orioles to win, but 40% of the money is on the Marlins to win. So we're seeing some discrepancy there. As for covering the spread, the Orioles are getting the love at -1.5, but kind of interesting that the money is showing some love for the Marlins to win outright. The under's getting a bit more love from the money than the over is. The total set at 8 runs. Now, this game has a 6:40 first pitch. Orioles are coming off a road loss. Last game of the series, I believe. Oh, no, it's not. They have another game. Series game. Is it series game number 2 or series game? Series game number 2, coming off an away loss in game number 2 of a series. They're actually just 3-2 so far this year, 2-3 on the run line. When they're an away favorite after an away loss, Orioles are 8-6 straight up this year, but only 5-9 on the run line. You would have thought that would have been better. By the way, the over slightly better at 8-4-2 as well. Let's check out the Marlins. When the Marlins are coming off a home win, but then they're a home dog on the following game. So, after a home win, and then they're a home dog, the Marlins this year, only 3-8 straight up, 4-7 on the run line. Marlins have won just 2 of their last 8 games under this scenario. Starting pitching could play, obviously, impactful on this one. Can't get any data behind the pitcher for Chance McDermott. No data behind him. But Edward Cabrera. Let's take a look at Edward Cabrera. Edward Cabrera, so far this season, has made 8 starts. The over, 7-1. The over, 7-1 when Edward Cabrera has pitched this year. The over is 7-1 in his starts. The only time the under hit, 7 runs were scored. And that actually came in his first start of the season back on April 15th. Some reason to like the over on this one. When he has pitched at home, the over is 4-1. Over is 4-1. I'm kind of curious about this. When Edward Cabrera, in his career, has had a total of 8 runs or less, the over is 17-12-1 and has hit in 6 straight starts. We have a good trend, everybody. We're taking the over. Orioles, Marlins, taking the over. Here's what's going to be interesting. Where is it available? Right now, it's set at 8. I like the over if I can get it at maybe a little bit lower than that. I can get the over at 7 at -200. That's a great bet. I'll place it at 7.5 on the big board, but you can get Orioles Marlins at over 7 at -200. Parlay that with Gunnar Henderson over half a hit. That is the same game parlay that I feel really strongly about. I think we're going to see 7. I think we're going to see 8 runs in that game based on what we see from Edward Cabrera. By the way, Edward Cabrera, that's with a total of 8 runs or less. How about when he is at home under that scenario? Over is 10-5-1. 10-5-1. Really interesting, actually. A trend in favor of the Marlins. The Marlins are 6-1 in Edward Cabrera's last 7 home starts when the total is 8 runs or less. So when the total is low and he pitches at home, the over is a good play. But the Marlins on the money line are also a good play. How about when they were a home dog with that total 8 runs or less? Over is 5-1-1. I continue to say this. The over is going to be the play for us on this one. Orioles, Marlins, we love the over. Orioles and Marlins, we love the over. Absolutely going with that one on this. So that one's making our big board. I lean slightly towards the Orioles on the money line, I would think. But frankly, Marlins plus 1.5 seems to have some value here. So the one thing I would say is don't get caught up in the love for one team. Trends might be suggesting the Marlins plus 1.5 is a decent play. Not going to bet it myself. I'd rather just go with the over 7.5. Brennan, who do I draft at pick number 5? Chase, St. Brown, or JJ? That is a close one, Brennan. I don't think it's St. Brown. I think St. Brown suffers from the fact that the Lions' offense is so diversified that he just doesn't get the same opportunities. He might get great production. I still think he's a first-round pick, but it's not St. Brown, Brennan. For me, it's close between Chase and JJ. I lean towards Justin Jefferson, especially fully healthy. I lean towards Justin Jefferson, but here's the only problem. I don't love his quarterback. I don't love Sam Darnold. So at number 5, really, my heart's telling me to take Justin Jefferson. My head's telling me to take Jamar Chase. My head's telling me to take Jamar Chase because I'd rather have Joe Burrow, but can he stay healthy? That's the big question. For the moment, I'll say go towards Chase. I feel like Chase could have the better game. Justin Jefferson just got paid. Chase is still chasing that paycheck. Pun intended there. I like the quarterback more. I'll lean towards Chase and say that JJ might have a reason to just have a slightly lesser season given Sam Darnold, the quarterback questions in Minnesota. You also got to think every opposing defense is going into the game saying, if we just take away Justin Jefferson, we should be able to win. But Jamar Chase, there are some other weapons teams have to acknowledge. Obviously, T. Higgins. So I'll be a little bit concerned there. M&M's, we talk sports here. That's what we do. Butt Fumble Sports talks everything. We talk baseball, football, basketball. We talk everything. So we answer the questions that are out there. EMC, I won my fantasy league last year because of you. EMC, great to have you back. Can't wait to get into fantasy football with every single one of you over the next few weeks. It's going to be a great time of year. I love August 1st and on. From August 1st till about April 15th, when baseball starts to dull out a little bit. I mean, we just have a run of 6-7 months that are just fantastic. Is there a website for one and done leagues? Yep, we're going to do a bunch of fantasy football leagues actually. So make sure you guys join our fantasy football leagues. They're free. We're going to be doing them, I believe, on Rival Fantasy still. So who's the best pick at 104? Chase, JJ, Bijan, or Amon? Interesting call here. For the moment, I'm still going to lean towards Chase, actually. It's Chase or JJ. Oh, wait. See, here's the issue. Really like Bijan, but Bijan for me is probably pick 5 through 8. At number 4, I'm probably going to go Jamar Chase still. I still like I want to take my running backs. You guys know I value running backs very high, but I still think there's value in taking Chase or JJ in those top 4 picks. Tracy's asking about Shohei Ohtani, over 1.5 bases. Let's go to work, everybody. We're going to do some player prop bet research. Giants, Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani. Let's start with over half a hit. He has a hit in 8 of his last 10 games against Robbie Ray, the starting pitcher of the San Francisco Giants. I'm seeing it's Robbie Ray, at least on Outlier. According to BallparkPal.com, same thing. Shohei Ohtani, 3 for 9 in his career against Robbie Ray. And against left-handed pitching this year, he's hitting .295, 7 home runs, 20 RBIs. Against left-handed pitching of late, 8 hits in his last 10 games. Here's a good note. So far this season, Shohei Ohtani has gone back-to-back games against the left-handed starting pitcher and hasn't gotten a hit just once this year. He did fail to get a hit in his last game against the left-handed starter in Game 1 of this series. So, very good likelihood he gets a hit. Shohei Ohtani at home against the left-handed starter. Kind of interesting, actually. That's where the slump happened. Left-handed pitching, but I like the matchup with Robbie Ray. I'll take Shohei Ohtani over half a hit. Shohei Ohtani over half a hit. Now, Tracy, I know that wasn't necessarily your question. I was just starting with the basics. You were asking about total bases. So let's take a look at it. When it's come to the last 10 games overall, he's gone over 1.5 total bases, 8 of his last 10 games at home. Only 5 of his last 10, but those 5 came in the last 7 games he's played. So a decent trend. How about at home against left-handed pitching? Only 3 of his last 10 games. So frankly, I can't endorse the play, Tracy. I don't like it nearly as much as I would have if he were facing a right-handed starter. Right-handed starter, I like it. Left-handed starter hasn't been a great trend, so I like the over half a hit. I'll take the over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. I'd rather take that one. So again, it's not over 1.5 hits, 1.5 bases for me. Tracy, I'd go over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. I feel like that's the better play involving Shohei Ohtani for tonight. By the way, the Reds and the Braves have finished their first inning, so I'm going to talk to you guys about that in-game betting research we can do. So far this season, when the Reds have had a first inning margin, like after the first inning they've led by 3 runs or more, they've gone 2-1. The over has hit in every single one of them, every single game. Not surprising. The average total score has been around 12 runs. So for those that are looking at current totals for this game, think around 12 runs. So if you're taking over 10.5, we like it. I know it's already 5 runs in, so it's probably set pretty high, but just be aware of that. Now, when they've had a margin of greater than 3 runs after a first inning, hasn't actually happened this year. Kind of interesting. Now, Braves on the other side, when the Braves, after the first inning, have been an underdog of 3 runs, they're 1-4 straight up. The over is hit every single time. They're 0-4 on the run line. So obviously, Reds to cover, Reds to win, looking really strong. The average final score has been around 11 runs. So we're looking right now at a total around 11.5, 12. That's where we're expecting this game to finish. That's something you can just do in-game research. Kind of interesting. You can see what the biggest lead was. You can obviously see what the hits and the errors. So just good opportunities to kind of do some in-game research if that's what you're focused on. Yeah, it's 12.5 now. That still feels a little high. If you're 14-14 in your fantasy draft, are you cooked? I don't think so, actually, because you have that swing around. So one of the things I like being positioned. If I'm going to be late, I'd rather be late right at the end of a draft, right at the end of a round. So I actually think one of the worst spots to be is like 12 out of 14, because you're catching the back end of of the first round, and then you're not quite dictating the second round. So when that snake comes around, you're not dictating what you want. So I don't hate being at 14-14. Does it suck? Yes. But really you can lock in certain positions ahead of everybody else. If you're 14-14, go take 2 running backs. Take 2 running backs, lock them in. You can get 2 wide receivers more easily in rounds 3 and 4. But if I was at 14-14, I'd be looking at like Josh Jacobs is absolutely a running back that comes to mind. Trying to think of a second running back I really like in that other spot. I don't know if I like Kenneth Walker III enough. He's close, though. But that's kind of what you're thinking you're going to get, is kind of that doubling up of 2 running backs. Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, those guys are going to be gone by then. So you're really going to have to... You're scrambling for guys who could be fringe RB1, RB2 guys almost at a certain point. You got to get as many RB1s at that 14-14 spot as possible. Bijan or Breece in a PPR. In a PPR, Bijan. And the PPR makes the difference for me. Breece Hall, even though he could have a monster year, I still have questions about his health, and I certainly have questions about the Jets' offensive line. So in a PPR league, Bijan has the advantage there in the passing game anyways, the receiving game. Plus, there are aspects of the Falcons I actually like a little bit more. So, David, it's Bijan over Breece Hall in the PPR for me. RM 2021, have the Mets ever swept the Yankees twice in a row? I'm not sure. That's a great question. I don't know, actually. We can do a bit of research on that. Team, Mets, opposing team, Yankees. So, by the way, the Mets have won 5 of their last 6 games against the Yankees overall. They've had some stretches where hasn't happened often, I'll put it that way. Has not happened often, but they've had some stretches. I don't think they've ever won back-to-back series like this. So it is a good question. Now, the Mets, by the way, have thrown 5 straight lefties. This tonight will be the 5th lefty the Mets put up against the Yankees. So far, the Yankees have really struggled against left-handed pitching actually this year. Sean Manaea on the mound, Garrett Cole on the mound. This is an interesting game to get to. Let's focus on this one, Yankees and Mets. This is a 7:05 first pitch. 82% of the tickets are on the Yankees to win, 80% of the money on the Yankees to win. Similar story when it comes to the spread. Yankees 90% of tickets at Yankees minus 1.5. Yankees minus 1.5 is getting 85% of the money. Taking a look at the trends, the Yankees coming off a home loss when they're a home favorite the following game. 7-8 straight up. Guys, crazy trends coming at you right now. I have some crazy trends. When the Yankees are a home favorite after a home loss, they are 4-11 on the run line. 4-11 on the run line. You heard that correct. 4-11 on the run line. The over is 12-2-1. The over is 12-2-1. That is ridiculous. That overplay might be something we're immediately jumping on. Let's take a look at it from a Mets point of view. The Mets, after a road win, and then they're following that up by being a road dog, the over 7-2. Guys, we're going over. We're going over. Mets, Yankees, over. Where's the market on this? The market's showing the over's got a little bit more value. Over 8.5. You can get this over 7.5, and I'm going to take it right there. Over 7.5 for Mets and Yankees. The trends are back in the over pretty strong. Let's take a look at Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, the overs 4-2 in his starts. He's won his last 4 straight starts. When Garrett Cole has pitched at Yankee Stadium this year, overs 2-1. Yankees are 2-1. Curious about this. In his career against the Mets, Garrett Cole. When Garrett Cole's pitched against the Mets, he's 3-5 straight up, 2-6 on the run line, 5-3 favoring the over. Garrett Cole does not pitch that well against the Mets. Wow. When he pitches at home against the Mets in his career, 1-4 on the run line. 1-4 on the run line. Now, most of those starts came with the Pirates, but does include a 10-5 loss to the Mets back in 2021. It's a random stat. I'm not putting too much into it, but just interesting. How about Sean Manaea? How do I pronounce this dude? Sean Manaea so far this year, 12-7 in his starts when he's pitched on the road, 7-2 straight up, 6-3 on the run line. How about when he's pitched as a road dog, 2-0? Yankees, when the Yankees have faced a left-handed starting pitcher this year, at home, the Yankees are 3-11 on the run line. Yankees have lost their last 6 straight games against the left-handed starting pitcher at home. I took Mets plus 1.5 last night. I took the over last night. We missed on the over. We cashed on Mets plus 1.5. Mets plus 1.5 looks like a decent play again today. I'm not going to bet it. Maybe. Mets plus 1.5 has some value, everybody. Sean Manaea as an underdog this year, regardless of locations, 3-1 straight up, 3-1 on the run line. I don't know, everybody. I kind of like the Mets to cover again. Yankees just 3-11 on the run line there. Under has been a better play when they have faced a left-handed starter at home. When they've been a home favorite against the left-handed starting pitcher, not surprised. By the way, no run in the first inning. No run in the first inning for Yankees and Mets. Yeah, no run in the first inning for Yankees and Mets. Yankees and Mets, no run in the first inning looks like a very strong play. Can I confirm that as well on ballparkpal.com? Let's see. They've got it 50-50. I've got the Mets plus the 1.5. I'll take the Mets plus 1.5. I'm going to put it up on the board, everybody. Mets plus 1.5. And I'll take Mets and Yankees over 7.5. I saw enough trends to back the over. So that's where I'm coming down on that one. Really interesting. Really interesting. Not what I expected, but that's what the research does. What's the biggest losing streak against the Mets? I'm not sure. Looked like it was like 5 or 6. Rockies and Red Sox. We took Red Sox on the money line. Rockies plus 2.5. Red Sox on the money line. Rockies plus 2.5. They should walk Judge 4 straight times. That'd be smart play. Smart play. Do I like the Braves game 2? Yes, I do, with Chris Sale on the mound. Getting some questions about that. Really quick. Chris Sale. Let's just act like he's going to pitch after a loss. The Braves right now are losing 4-1. Thus far this season, the Braves are 5-1 when Chris Sale pitches after a Braves loss. When that's a home loss, the Braves are 2-0. The under is 2-0. I will take Braves on the money line for game 2. Braves money line game 2. That's Braves on the money line for game 2. There also was another player prop bet that I really like for game 2 of this game. I had it yesterday. This is the 6:05 start. Marcell Ozuna. Marcell Ozuna against Nick Martinez in his career. Marcell Ozuna is 2 for 5. Both of those hits are home runs. So for game 2, Marcell Ozuna over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs for game 2. Game 2, Marcell Ozuna. If you told me he went deep, I would not be surprised. So again, that's game 2, Braves on the money line, Marcell Ozuna over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. By the way, this game ain't over yet. The Braves just came back. And who is it? Jared Kelenic just put together. What happened? Kelenic, an RBI hit. We cash on Jared Kelenic over half a hit. That was a pick that we put up on the board in our earlier show. Kelenic over half a hit. That cashes. By the way, we're still alive now for Braves on the money line, Reds plus 1.5. This game has changed on a dime, everybody. We'll do some in-game research after the end of the second inning, but it's 4-3 Reds right now, so we've got a lot of game left in this one. Long. I'm loving the Rangers on the run line as well. That's Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. That's why I'm so excited about that game. Nathan Eovaldi, so far this year, 10-7 in his starts, but specifically at home, 8-3 when he's pitched at home so far this year. The under's been a very strong play as well, as 7-3-1 when he's pitched at home as a favorite so far this year. Rangers are 7-2 straight up. The under is 6-2-1. I will take the Rangers on the money line, everybody. Rangers on the money line. That's another one we like. I'll quickly show you what the market is on this one, but White Sox at Rangers, not surprised, but I do like Rangers on the money line. It isn't a great play in terms of return on investment. Rangers on the money line. Just for fun, Nathan Eovaldi, when he has pitched in his career against the White Sox, only 2-3 straight up, 2-3 on the run line. Really interesting, actually. Hasn't been as good against them as you would have expected. White Sox, when they have a line, when they're a heavy underdog. When they're an underdog of more than 200, the White Sox are 1-14 this year. They did win their last game under this scenario, but so far this year, when the White Sox are an underdog with a line of 200 or more, they are 1-14. That's got to be one of our favorite plays of the day, everybody. That is Rangers on the money line. Rangers on the money line. You got to go with it. Rangers on the money line. Rangers on the money line. Next one we're putting up on the board. Let's quickly do our player prop bet research. Rangers on the money line. Let's also, against Nathan Eovaldi, there are a couple White Sox who hit him well. Nicky Lopez, 6 for 12 lifetime. Nicky Lopez, 6 for 12 lifetime against Nathan Eovaldi. So, if you're looking for someone who hits him well, against Chris Flexen, wow. Nathaniel Lowe, big numbers. Adolis Garcia, big numbers. A couple of these guys hit him incredibly well. Adolis Garcia, Nathaniel Lowe, at home against righties. That's where we're going. Nathaniel Lowe, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs might be a good play for him as well. Nathaniel Lowe, over half a hit, though, we're putting up on the board. So Rangers money line, and you can do a same game parlay with Nathaniel Lowe, over half a hit. Love that, love that, love that. Couple of guys who hit the pitchers they're facing well. Lowe, Ozuna, guys who hit them really well. Loving the picks we're putting up on the board so far. Feel really good about it, everybody. Cardinals and Pirates are underway, by the way. No run in that first inning. We're actually at the bottom of the second with no score. Phillies and Twins underway in the top of the first. I did want to do some in-game research for you guys. If you guys are looking for some in-game betting research, let's take a look at that. When the Reds have, after 2 innings, a margin of a 1-run lead or more, they're 24-9 straight up, 27-6 on the run line. When they're on the road, 11-5 straight up, 13-3 on the run line. How about when they're facing a team with a winning record under that scenario? When the Reds have a 1-run lead after 2 innings on the road against a team with a winning record, they are 6-1 straight up. They are 7-0 on the run line. So reason to believe that the Reds, if at worst, are going to cover that plus 1.5 that we talked about earlier in the day. So feel good about that ticket. But right now, Reds on the money line, they have only blown a lead of 1 run or more after 2 innings against a team with a winning record on the road just once this year. Kind of interesting here. Reds just scored again. Reds now 5-3. This is what we're talking about. In-game betting opportunity. We talked about it right as it happened. The Reds on the money line continues to look like a good bet. How about let's flip it around. When the Braves, after 2 innings, are down a run at home, 4-8 straight up, 2-10 on the run line. Over's been better. When they came into that game as a favorite, same thing. When they're facing a team with a losing record, 1-5 straight up, 1-5 on the run line, 5-1 towards the over. So right now, in-game betting, Reds on the money line's a really strong play, obviously. Also some reason to believe the over. So we talked about it a little bit earlier. In-game betting, Reds on the money line, very strong play, and the over. And I'm not just saying that. We just did the research on it to back it. By the way, the Pirates have scored. Pirates just took a lead in that game. 1-0 Pittsburgh with an out in the bottom of the second. Top of the first in Minnesota. We have a base runner in that game as Kyle Schwarber drew a walk. So we've got action across the board. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're enjoying the show. Having a lot of fun talking sports with you guys. Make sure you guys are hitting that follow button. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're with us every time we go live. Getting a question in about the Mariners game. Let's take a look at the Mariners. Mariners, Angels. There's some money coming down on the Angels. Reason to believe, actually, that the Angels have some good value here. So we'll keep our eye on that. That's Angels, Mariners. Reason to believe that the Angels might have some good value. Let's dive into this one. Griffin Canning, Luis Castillo. Let's take it from the back first. That's what she said. No, that's not what she said. Griffin Canning in his career against the Mariners. Yep. 3-3 straight up, 3-3 on the run line. Nothing that stands out about that. How about Luis Castillo in his career against the Angels? 7-1 straight up, 7-1 on the run line. So Luis Castillo has dominated. The only loss, the only time Luis Castillo has lost in his career against the Angels, Shohei Ohtani was the starting pitcher of the Angels. So maybe Angels plus 1.5 has value, but at least based on this trend, the Mariners on the money line, Luis Castillo is 7-1 straight up, 7-1 on the run line against the Angels, and the only loss came against Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, no Shohei Ohtani in this one. And when he's pitched against the Angels in Seattle, or at home, I should say, 4-0 straight up, 3-1 on the run line. Let's take a look at the Angels as a road dog. When the Angels have been a road dog this year, 20-24 when they're coming off a win in the previous game, 7-11 when that win came on the road, 6-9 straight up, 10-5 on the run line. That's what it is. It's Mariners money line, Angels plus 1.5. That's where it's going to be on this. I think Mariners on the money line probably is the best bet given what we just saw about Luis Castillo. How about the Mariners? Mariners, when they are coming off a home loss, 11-10 straight up, only 8-13 on the run line. When they're a home favorite after a home loss, 7-7 straight up, only 4-10 on the run line. They've won just one of their last 5 games at home as a favorite after a home loss. This is what I'm doing for this one. I'm cutting the difference in it. I know it's not a great bet, but it's going to be a same-game parlay for me. I'm taking Mariners on the money line. I'll take the Angels at plus 2.5. Mariners on the money line, Angels plus 2.5. I know that's not a great play. That would have to be a parlay play to have value, but I do like the Angels to kind of have some value at the plus 2.5. Let's take a look at the player prop bets for this one. Angels, Mariners, that's a 340 start. Luis Castillo, Anthony Rendon hits him well. Brandon Drury hits him well. Those are the two that stand out. Rengifo hits him well. Griffin Canning, Garver, Rojas, Raley. The Angels have better numbers against Castillo than the Mariners have against the Canning. Luis Rengifo, over half a hit. That's going to be added to our big board. That's absolutely going to make it. Luis Rengifo. Make sure I'm spelling it right. Over half a hit. Yep. Coming down on that one. Love it. Luis Rengifo, over half a hit. So another player prop bet that's up on the board for all you folks out there. Hope you're enjoying the content, enjoying the show. Make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're with us every time you go live. I actually have to sign off right now. I'm going to post all of these picks, so make sure you DM me if you want every bet that we make every day. I'm going to post all these picks. DM me on Instagram right now. Make sure you DM me, and that way you can get access to every bet that I make every day. I got to go run off right now. Didn't realize I was getting behind it. So we will give out these picks for free. Just DM me on Instagram, everybody. Butt Fumble Sports. That's Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram to get every bet, okay? I'll catch you guys tomorrow at, let's say, 4:30. Might be earlier. I'll let you know. Until then, have a great afternoon, everybody. Stay healthy. Stay